So look what the cat drug in. It's Louise, our crew from the Transatlantic Arc Crossing, and we're in the BVIs, sailing up towards North Quarter Sound. And and there's Necker Island up there, Richard Branson's island, and we're just sailing. Louise came down to visit, and we're just having a wonderful time. It's just this perfect sailing weather, doing 7.5 knots with 16 to 20 knots of wind, and flat, calm conditions. So what brings you this way?
Well, I just finished a delivery of a catamaran to Sint Maarten, and since I was so close...
From where?
From Lanzarote, from the Canaries. Okay. So one more Atlantic crossing under the belt. And since I was so close, it's just 80 miles apart, I had to pay them a visit. And I'm so glad to be here. It was such a great experience, and it's nice like to relive those moments and to see my American family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Luis was just the perfect complement to our trip across the Atlantic. We needed a really competent, crew member, and Luis is probably the best captain I've ever come across. He's a wonderful guy to have aboard, and so knowledgeable, and easy to get along with. I think that's always a big thing when you're on a crossing is how, whether there's friction on board the boat. If that happens, it can really ruin things for everyone. We had none of that. Our trip was fantastic,
yeah.
And
you're way too kind to me.
Well, I told him we'd drum up some business for him, because this is what he's doing for a living these days, is transferring boats and coaching people, like new owners on big boats, and that's the type of thing there's a big market niche for that, because there's a lot of people with more money than sense, and they get themselves these big boats, and they need somebody who really knows what's going on.
Well,
yeah, he's got good political instincts as well, to just say, oh, I have no comment on that. But everybody knows that that's the case. I think if you're in this business for very long, or if you're in this life for very long, you see it. And that doesn't mean that it's an unsolvable problem. They're smart people. They didn't get the money they have by accident, and so they do pick it up quickly. And they just need a little bit of help. That's Luis is the person to talk to about that. But in the meantime, here we are sailing. The sun's going down. Look at this. Look at this. Sun on the islands.
Mosquito Island, in front of Gorda. Nice view of Virgin Gorda. Go in through the cut and go over to Sabre Rock and have a couple cocktails.
That's the plan.
Well, I'm trying out the new oven. So I'm making a pizza, gluten-free dough, with a recipe that Luis had given me when he was visiting. And so I'm trying to see if I can make the oven work. So, there it is. It's cooking pretty good. Gas is kicking on down there. It's super awesome. Now, I have no idea if this is going to taste good or not, but it sure is fun trying.
Okay.
That's one thing that was really nice about the catamaran, was that they like put this engine in forward and this engine in reverse and go wherever you want to go. That was pretty nice.
Wow. Well, my brother Brendan and his wife Dara are visiting. Awesome. Coming up to North Quarter Sound and heading for Sabre Rock. The plan. Sailing, doing it under sail. Coming into North Quarter Sound. Obviously under sail. Necker Island. watch over. Here's the reef on the right. Brennan, you can see the reef over here. Don't want to go over there. Once again, back at the Sabre Rock Bitter End complex. Just a beautiful day. We've sailed over this morning, and it's a turn day, I think. Saturdays, weekends tend to be charter boat turns. You gotta love this. We just picked up a tree trunk. We're gonna see if we can't break it free here. The camera and screwdriver. Here, why don't you film this?
Really wedged in there.
Wendy, we're going backwards. Are we in drive?
Yeah.
No, we can't. Don't do that. Pushing it funny.
Trying to keep it going under the boat.
It's really... He's just about got it.
Get it?
Yep.
Did it sink?
Yes. Oh yeah.
There now.
Getting intravenous IV.
This poor guy has 5 young girls on his boat. Guaranteed it's going to be a mess.
It's not going to be a mess. It's going to be perfect. He's going to have the best time. Those girls are going to be so excited. They're going to have a great time.
We think they probably sailed over from Tortola, which is
I'm
a
sure
nice,
they sailed over from
it's
Tortola.
a nice day. That's all
Only
the way
5,
across.
6, 7 miles away.
Five
Super easy
miles
day.
away.
It's going to be a downwind sail home. He's going to have a great time.
Nice little day sailor like our old Catalina. Oh yeah, brings back memories. Truly does.
How is he going to sail?
Kids are going to do great. Is he going to sail it? Well, you put the sails up and then you sail it.
But with the kids on the...
Oh, well.
First order of operations was getting these dock lines set so we can release them from the boat. With that taken care of, it's just about ready to leave. Okay.
We just do stern now?
Oh, let me see where I am on the rudder. Yep, I'm ready. Yep. Let's catch that up. That's right. Scott, you start now. And then put these cables on the lifelines. Don't worry, might have to take the fenders off first because of the weight. Let's do that. So what you thinking there, Scott?
We're off. We're off. After a couple of days, everything looks good. The rain this morning, but it's clearing up a little bit. We'll see how it goes. But finally going. A couple good days, a couple good projects.
I see him. Nanny Cay, heading for Grenada. Ready?
Okay.
Ready?
Bring it out.
So here's Norman Island. We're leaving and heading out into the wild blue yonder. As you can see, we're cutting all the way down the island chain. We're in the wind hole kind of here, but coming up, here comes a puff.
See a puff.
Bit oversheeted there. Saying goodbye to the BVIs. So over there is St. Croix, island of St. Croix, and we made it down here and left at 9 o'clock this morning. And I mean, we would have been in St. Croix an hour and a half ago. So we're making tremendous time. We're seeing about 8 knots most of the way. And the boat's just sailing great with wonderful point of sail just ahead of the beam, almost a beam reach, and good wind. We're seeing like 22. It's just so consistently showing between 20 and 22. And we have our full main out and our full Genoa out. Talisman is in her element, loving life. What do you think there, Scott?
It's going great. Yeah, Talisman is, everything's pretty consistent. We're holding 8 knots the whole way with minor sail changes. So what more can you ask for? It's great sailing. So that could be going on for the next couple of days.
Well, it sure is better than trying to go back to Sint Maarten or Antigua, because if that were the case, we'd be going dead into the wind and it's honking out. So, and it would be tacking and having a lot of leeway and not making much progress. So, nonetheless, it's not like this is any kind of a short passage. We're doing, it's 400 and some nautical miles, and we're expecting it to be 3 days about, could be a little less. I did make some errors. I might cut this out of out of the edited final version, but I would have really liked to have set the inner forestay, the removable inner forestay. We're on the same tack for 400 miles. We might as well support the mast in every way possible. I did set the running backstay on the windward side, which is how you do it, just to support the mast a little bit more, just give it a little something extra. There's no downside to doing that. And thirdly, I probably should have taken the engine off the dinghy for such a long passage. It's not hurting it. Everything's within spec for weights, but it would just be a little easier on the dinghy probably if it didn't have that weight on it. We definitely take it off for longer passages most of the time, and I just kind of spaced on that. But so it goes. Thinking there.
A beautiful day, and we're screaming along.
Yes, we are. Certainly
Bouncing around
screaming. A little bit bouncy. Tell us about the squalls.
Oh, about 3 a.m. we had half a dozen squalls come through. Nothing really big, but well spaced. So it took about 2 hours to get through them. We just reefed the sails down, and Scott was a trooper and stayed out in the rain, and I hid downstairs. Of course, it was his ship, so yeah. I was just on the top.
Danger here. Seriously important to not run aground in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. There is a small island kind of on the way that if you do a straight run line from St. Thomas down to Grenada, you will run right over this little island. And it's happened before. So I put a bunch of cautionary waypoints around it just to make sure that everybody saw it, that we didn't accidentally. If we weren't running straight on the route leg the way we are, if we were zigzagging downwind or something, it would be something that we really had to pay attention to. interesting day. Earlier today we passed through a frontal system. On the backside of it, just like 6 knots of wind, almost no wind at all. And we kind of readjusted sails and whatnot, and just kind of hung out for a bit, and then the wind kind of filled back in. But the thing that was interesting was behind that, just absolutely no clouds upwind, and that's good. I mean, I'm really happy to see that. There's some over there, over that way, but as far as what's happening upwind from us, we've almost nothing. In fact, we do have nothing. Right, upwind of us, we have no clouds whatsoever, and I'm hoping that bodes well for tonight. I do not like dealing with squalls at night. We do have a half moon, but it'll be gone by, I don't know, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and after that it's going to be darkness, and we'll be just using radar. Yesterday we had similar conditions with very little cloud activity. It took till about 3 o'clock in the morning for just a couple of squalls to come through, but nothing heavy duty. And so now we're just kind of cruising along at 7.5 knots. Wind speeds around 18 knots apparent, and that's good. So we're just ticking off the miles.
Coming up on sunset here. It's we're still having a great sail. Wind's blowing 20s, 19, 20, cruising along at 7.5 knots. Pretty much cloudless sky. I'm looking out towards Guadeloupe, and you can see, I think, thunderheads over Guadeloupe. Those are more than 24 miles away. They're not showing up on radar. So they are probably not going to be a problem for us, but they are definitely something to keep an eye on as we get into the night. The islands farther down the chain are probably creating their own thunderheads, and so hopefully we won't run into any of them tonight. But now we've got the sunset coming.
Getting ready to try to fish. I've had the new reel for 2 years, and finally it takes Scott to put it all together for us.
Got this boat coming up on us. We're still a good 100 miles out of Grenada. It looks like just a fishing boat, but we're not super keen on boats coming straight for us, so we're gonna approach this cautiously. See if you see anything distinguishing about it. How many people? Okay, well he's turning away now.
Tarp on the side.
Yeah. He's turned below us, Kevin.
Probably not visible with the camera, but up on the horizon is Grenada. So we got land ho at it's about 2:30 p.m. here at the moment. Getting closer to Grenada. It's Grenada about 37 miles away. We'll get in about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, according to the plotter. That's 15 knots of wind and getting above, middle sevens, and that's good. That'll get us there sooner rather than later. Well, I guess we're getting there. 32 miles out, and there's Grenada looming large. I was surprised to be able to see it from 50 miles out, or 45 miles out. It was crazy. It's got very high mountains, visible from far away. Just about ready for the sunset. Unfortunately, we're going to arrive at dark. I don't like that, but it was very hard to calculate 4 days passage with any kind of accuracy. What do you have to say?
Brown dog? No?
Something else.
That's the right answer?
Brown dogs.
Oh, it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
Look, land.
Land ho.
Land ho.
Okay. Hey Scott, could you let the dinghy off a little bit?
Yeah.
I'll need you to stop.
This is downtown St. George's. It looks wonderful. It's prosperous. Feels like Europe, honestly. It's the only place I've ever been that felt like Europe. The islands. Besides Bermuda. Bermuda's maybe that way. Always a good sign when you see lots of little fishes. It means the water's clean.